Might look for organics here. now. Sorted. Let's give it another go. You have got to be kidding me. Hey, you still there? I did. Rubidium can save me? How exactly? Only the captain. Man, that was just my luck to be stuck in a junkyard. How did they get it, and what for? Hey. What the fuck? No, please. What do you want with... No branching?
This is you.
Rubidium. Cloning a sheep. Altering my life by messing with my own memories? I mean, whatever it is you want me to do, no.
You're in imminent danger. Oh shit.
You jerk.
Hey Ivan, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Yup, just cloning myself. I might skip most of it because this is my second playthrough. Or like the dialogues and stuff. Let's see what other clones I can get.
Hey there. Wow, hello. Hello? Can you hear me? What is this?
That's funny.
There's been an emergency. The whole crew is dead. I know this is abrupt, but I'll need you to focus. Focus. Wait, why are you... What the fuck is going on here? My head. Oh, why do I feel so weird? I think you're on some meds. What? What for? So you don't panic when you wake up. Why would I panic? I'll explain.
Imagine you calling
Right
yourself
now,
a liberal
let's
version, a
change
conservative version of yourself.
Okay.
Oh no.
You can introduce yourself. Sure.
Conflict
You?
with yourself.
Okay. My name is Jan Dolsky. So you think you're Jan Dolsky as well? What kind of bullshit is this? What's your role on the mission? I'm a senior technician.
Endless battles.
Want to tell me what your role is? Imitating human crew members?
This is like a bottled version of like Council of Rigs.
It is. Nobody warned me.
It would just be Council of U's running the ship.
It's not an experiment. This is for real. And I'm for real. So, what's going on? Well, I got stranded in this base, and, I needed someone to help me move it. Because it got broken. Then, okay, this is the crazy part. I learned that there's this functionality of the quantum computer on board to, create alternate versions of a person's life. What? Replicate a person, but with different experiences. Mind records.
Pretty sure the Mechanicus has this technology minus the
Anyone in a
Rapidium.
bad mental condition in this room. It's definitely not me. The QC's only functionality is to navigate these junkets. I mean, theoretically, it could do other stuff, but such bullshit? I know. It's absurd. I thought the same, but here you are, right? Right. If I understand you correctly, you're telling me you're a alternate version of me with a different mind? No. You're an alternate version of me. And, you said we were stranded. Yes. It's just
I'm trying to pick
like there's a malfunction.
decisions that I didn't make last
You
time.
don't help me fix it soon. We're both gonna die. So, wait. Let me get this straight. This is not an experiment, but I'm a different version of you. And you brought me to life to help fix a malfunction because there's no one else on board. What if there was no malfunction? Where would I be? You'd still exist somewhere? Theoretically, at least? Theoretically? Wow. You bastard. I can see now what the meds are for. I can't even lash out at you, just this passiveness. What am I? Look, this is a lot, and we'll sort it out, I promise. But trust me, if we don't fix the machinery fast, we're gonna go in a very bad way, and you'll never get the chance to understand this properly. Experience your feelings without the meds.
There's also a people management as well. Well, versions of you.
That makes two of us. Fine.
But it's very superficial. It's just clones of you and a different version.
What a screw up. A 3-year-old would have figured it out. Okay. In any other case, I'd say don't touch anything here ever again. But unfortunately, this is a two-man job. On my sign, pull that lever over there. Just don't yank it like an idiot. Pull it gently. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now, yes! It worked! You did it. We're gonna live. Let's get one thing straight. I did what you created me for. Now stay away from me.
And I guess a little bit of Inside Out. As you create core memories. You can switch up buildings around, kind of like a Fallout shelter. Then you can build more, you can build elevators, corridors, and make it bigger over time, I guess. Alright, time to start the engine. Oh, I need to go out. Time to mine more. Need 200. Get out of here. Night radiation. The radiation won't kill us. Give me 200. So close. Oh shoot, we have a bunch of radiation. Oh. It doesn't slow us down. I'll hold 2 since there's 2 of us. Oh, I need to talk to him. He's in the kitchen. Oh, damn, he's sleeping on the floor. Sucks. Can't even make him a dorm. Well, we get to sleep on the bed. Radiation critical. Talk to him. Nope. Alright, let's go out and get more organics. here. There's metals over here we can grab. Should we run around? Sure, why not? All the fuzz around us is the radiation. There's a lot of radiation level, or sorry, our radiation levels kind of high because we work throughout the night. This is only the intro part, so it's not a lot of enemies. Well, actually, there's no enemies. It's kind of like the tutorial area. One workshop. Easy way to get to the base. And then a little exploration here. So we can grab all of these. Before we get out of here. Now, this part teaches you the mechanics of mining, I guess. How to explore and find all the mining areas. I hooked up a new surround sound system. So my computer is like super loud now. And I'm able to get like tangible bass. I can either run here or run straight to the base. By bass, B-A-S-S, I meant like the sound on the game can feel more surreal, I guess. More like I'm there. Alright, before we head back, let's just fill up our organics meter. Before we teleport back. Pretty sure we'll need it for something. The extra 100 will save us in the future, hopefully. Not gathering anymore or what? There you go. Let's go. What's up, Mevi? How are you? Cool looking game. Thanks. Well, I didn't make it, but yeah, it's a cool game. Gives me that. It's kind of like Fallout Shelter, where you can move, like customize your base and stuff. Sorry, let me change the setting. It's probably super loud, huh? There we go. Check. You can hear me, right? Okay. Or set it even lower. 25 or no, 30. With more of me, I guess. Okay, we need to go to the command center. We can build more stuff here, but right now we have nothing else to build. Here, let's launch our mobile base. You want to automatically collect structures before starting your journey? Yeah, sure. Oh, instead of collecting it yourself. Oh, that's cool. takes away that tedium. How have you been? I've been good, thanks. I've been alright. Still working. How are you? I could finally finish my exams. Hooray! Exams are over for forever, right? Hopefully. And the altars tab. I need to talk to the technician. Where is he? He's reading.
Hey there. I said, don't come near me.
Get a grip, we need to fix the comm room.
Time to get a grip, man. We need to fix the comms room so we can make it out of here faster. Are you deaf? I don't give a damn about your comms room. We're moving, aren't we? Now get out of my face, creep. You don't get to talk to me like that. I'm in command of this base now. You'll do as I say, or what? You'll send me back to that giant fish tank? Why don't you get yourself a repair kit and fix your own shit? I'm done doing your dirty work.
I'm picking the decisions I didn't make last time. So I guess I'm gonna be more hostile in this playthrough. Alright, we need one repair kit. Actually, I can't tell him to produce it. Okay. Alright, I'll fix my own shit. A little tutorial on how to fix stuff. It's still tied to the story. Pretty good. Figure out how to get along. Answer the call. Okay.
Hello? Yeah,
Are you okay?
I'll probably be skipping some of this.
are you serious?
It's, the dupe. I need it.
Really?
Oh,
That way, you guys are saved from the story. Probably. Or the minutia of the story.
You left me no choice. Doesn't mean...
you
So,
Sure.
how do you know you're not talking to him right
No,
now?
I didn't pay this last time.
You're joking, right?
Who knows?
Yeah. Nice try, but I'd know the difference. The immunosuppressant meds, he wouldn't be in a disposition to mess around. How bad is he feeling?
He's pissed off at me. Won't cooperate.
Yeah, I already know.
I told...
Yeah,
What?
I don't know.
A big chunk of life, I guess. Until we branched apart. I wonder what he thinks about why his life went in a different direction.
Yeah. Mind records.
Fine.
L7.
Alright. We need to see the altar's life and where it changed. I already know where it changed. He stood up to his abusive dad. See that crossroads. So in your reality, in your main reality, you instead of standing up to your abusive dad, you went away for college. You kind of just left your parents or your mom with the abusive father. She passed away alone. Versus the one that stayed behind, that didn't go to college. He stood up to his mom. I mean, to his abusive dad. Kicked him out. They've been happy. Well, not always happy, but He also refused to join him. He also refused to join him in the in his old man's footsteps of becoming a miner. In this reality, he was there for his mom. And he was more of a tinkerer, a mechanic. He was more hardened versus the main timeline where he was just taking the easier route. Ask the altered about the memories you share. Okay, I got Patchito with him.
I've been thinking about what you said.
We're different.
You're right. We are different. Sure we are. Like, I got that right away, and you took your sweet time.
You didn't go to college. You stood up to Dad.
I'm serious. You stood up to Dad. I didn't. Oh, really? And what did you do? Just stand and watch him take it out on Mom? I thought about stepping in. I was always a heartbeat away from doing it, but when it came down to it, I just freeze. Guess I was afraid of making things worse. Yeah, I remember the feeling. But then I reached a breaking point. Looks like you didn't hang around long enough to reach yours. I didn't believe staying behind could change anything. Did it? You tell me. Dad left, and that was big, but I was hoping... I don't know what I was hoping for. More. I think it was too late for Mom to start her new life. She used to force a smile for me. But she didn't die a happy woman. Wait, is she maybe still around here? No. I wish she was. She always knew what to do and how to cheer you up. Hey, when you were down or Dad had just stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind him and leaving you crying in your room, would she ask me to help her make pierogi? Her famous pierogi. Oh my God, I could really pig out on those. And making them together was fun. Fun. Yeah, wow, why don't we go for it? Why don't we try and make Mom...
Facial animation is pretty good in this game.
No way we'd find the ingredients here.
Coolant and oil. Beer and
So
starch.
they have to be right. Beer and synthetic starch should work. Yeah, hilarious. I can pull it off. You'll see. But there's one condition. You're eating them with me. If you die, I die. Why not? Won't change much, I guess.
To make the pierogi. Wait, what else is in the workshop? Oh yeah, make the repair kit. Done.
Here you are, the famous Dulski pierogi with an interstellar twist. What do you think?
A pretty easy way to do cutscenes without cutscenes,
how Mom must have felt.
just slideshows.
The day she had a terrible flu and I decided to cheer her up and make pierogi for her. Right. Yeah. I put like a ton of salt into the filling. And I overcooked them into a shapeless pulp. They were inedible. But you remember what she did? Uh-huh. She ate them all and never said a word. No, she said they were delicious. Yeah. Hey,
So, your reality, the reality that
Delicious.
you've cloned yourself from, you're the builder.
what the fuck?
That's the role. And then the one that you created is the technician role. Like, basically any branches of you that you create will somehow inevitably show up here. Somehow. Like, they all, like, however successful or downtrodden they are, they all end up here. In this, like, this is the converging point, I guess. Or no. They all end up like joining this corporation that you work for. But it's simulated because of the quantum computer. It takes your DNA, or it takes like your life events and then simulates a branching alternate version of yourself that would like go on to make this kind of decision and stuff to lead you to become good at, you know, a speciality, but also joining the corporation that you're working for right now.
So
Are we cool?
are we cool now? Cool. Do you mean did I come to terms with waking up as tech support for my doppelganger? You might have to give me something stronger than dehydrated dumplings to
Curious who directed
wrap
this
my head
game.
around that.
Yeah, look it up. The Alters.
Now you're being mean. I went through a lot of trouble to make those, and they weren't that bad. But you made an effort. I'll give you that. But see, that makes it even worse. It would be easier to hate you, but eating those fucking pierogi with you, I actually enjoyed it.
Actually enjoyed it. Are you showing feelings?
Wait, are you showing your feelings? What? No. Okay. Just kidding. I hate getting called sentimental too. Just proves how similar we are. Well, now that we got that out of the way, what's the plan?
Hey, last time I put we need to handle this our way. Let's put trust the corporation.
I'm in touch with this guy from STC, Lucas. He says Ally Corp is coming for us. They'll take care of everything. We just need to transport the base to our destination safely. So, he knows about me? He was the one who instructed me to create you. I really don't like the way that sounds. So, what's gonna happen to me?
I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know.
Dude,
But I was...
the real life implication of this is insane.
I can't imagine...
Because this is like following our reality, sort of.
So naive.
But this is like an interstellar corporation
Idiom.
that
I'll help you.
found
But there's one more thing.
an element that's able
What's that?
to be applied to
I
something,
think I should be the
like say a cell of you, and
I do.
you know, with some tweaking,
This is a
basically clone you.
Maintenance heavy sucker to operate. You'll need to create more versions of me.
More versions of me. You mean more versions of me?
Need me. More versions of me. You make it sound even worse.
Can't wait to do it again. I was hoping I could avoid it.
I was hoping I could avoid going through all that again. It was quite a struggle with you. Struggle. One day you'll look back and realize I was the easy one. Mark my words.
So, see, he's come to terms that, okay, I'm a freaking clone. It's like Council of Yawns, the game. Yawn is your character. Or like it's spelled Jan.
Hello? Jan. Can you hear me?
Lena?
They
Yeah.
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 I'd love to see it. And what the heck?
Something mysterious.
I'm not sure.
Oh my. I know. What?
There's...
Yeah, I'm gonna skip the minutiae here so it's not to spoil.
No. Yeah.
Good.
Well, I'll spoil it for you. From my mouth instead of from them, even though you're watching me play.
Hey, were we supposed to stop here?
Oh boy, it's level 2 now.
Nope. It's way too early. Don't tell me something's wrong.
So,
with this again.
the real world implications of this game would be insane because, like,
Something outside then?
oh shit, it's 11-bit studios, but I'm not familiar with director.
In your suit already?
Yeah, me neither. I'm not familiar with 11-bit studios either.
Like the inside of our base? Alright. I'll take a
Well,
look around.
except for they made this War of Mine, and that game has like a Fallout Shelter-esque design to it. But this is like higher fidelity graphics with similar mechanics. But it's also a third-person mode. Yeah, it's a big wheel. It's a mobile base, basically. Sounds far away. Oh, great. Talk to our tech first. See what he's up to. He probably wants a bed. Not in the mood to talk. You're giving the multi.
Yep, cool.
Something you wanted to.
I wanted to, yeah, looks like, oh, yeah.
That's what I expect from a tech. Good, that'll keep you busy.
Isn't that your job? To provide the tech? It's what I'd expect from a technician. Really? And did you expect me to upgrade the building module too? Because I did. Although it's more like something I'd expect from a builder.
I wasn't planning on getting cozy here.
I wasn't planning on getting cozy in here.
I was nicer the
Call it
first time
cozy.
around.
I call it
So this time I'm trying to pick the stuff I didn't pick.
Whatever you decide, remember, everything costs resources. So, wherever we are and however long we're
I like the tutorialization of this game though, because it ties into the story.
instead of relying on shallow deposits. Just in case. Sound advice. I'll consider.
So I guess in this playthrough I have a more of a snarky playthrough. Oh shit. Got a bunch of stuff I need to make. Or I need to queue up. Alright, looks like I'm gonna need a bunch of metal and what is this? Organics. Metal organics. Okay. Cool. Let's get out there. So there's a third person component of this game. You run around, try to find your way. Let's just what do you call it? Enriched metals, okay. Let's just run around. Okay, I know one of the deposits right here. Or is it up here? Where is it? Somewhere close. Maybe it's here on this corner. No? What the hell? Just need to grab these. Oh, it's right here, okay. I thought it was a lot further away. Or like on the corners.
You want me to take care of this?
Yes, please. An auto yes that I can do. That'd be nice. There it is. Pylon. Yeah, last time I was too scared to do anything. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Make it extendo all the way. So it's kind of, this is the portion where it's kind of like Death Stranding, where you have to build a connected network. Okay, let's try to set it in the middle if we can. Oh, like right here-ish. Alright, just like that, we got ourselves metal. What do you call it? Enriched metal, which has metal and organics in it.
So, this is why we stopped. A lava river.
Okay, that's an organics. We're not gonna mine it yet because
I guess we'll need to figure out if there's a way around.
we're not gonna mine it yet because we need to find all the spots first.
Wonder how many more.
Because mining takes time to or it makes you pass time. Oh, found it. Not like I played this before. Okay, I need to get another mining outpost going. Good sir, are you doing it? You are, okay. Alright, that's the case, then I might as well mine for the organic that's up here so I can speed up the time for him to make that stuff, and then I can deploy it out here, hopefully. Okay, is it done? It is done, cool, okay. Alright. There goes another network. to set it in the middle if we can. There, as middle as you can get. I need to produce another mining and pylon components. Those are gonna need metal. Do we have a way to get metal right now? I don't. Yeah, we do. Okay, here, I'll just extract while we get more metals somehow. 17. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to mine the enriched metals.
All done. Should I take care of this now?
Oh, he's gonna do it. Oh, alright, cool. I guess we can explore around. But I'd rather just get more organics. Because we kind of know where everything is. Kinda. I don't remember. Here, I'll just jump to the organics. I know we can get to other stuff here too. We have a battery pack.
These loose rocks look like they might be passable.
It would be. We have the stuff for it.
If only I had a tool to drill through them.
Here, let's get more organics since we're here. Let's see rubidium stuff. Okay.
If only I had a tool to drill through them.
Call from the corporate. We still don't have it, right? Nope. Okay. I do have a travel pylon. Oh, we'll be fine. I'm tired. Back to base. Talk to the homie. He's gonna be like, I need a bed.
I can see that you're angry. Just come.
Work hard, party hard.
If you work hard, you gotta party hard, right? You know it.
Let's take this call.
About time. I'm in some deep shit here.
So,
I'm stuck.
I know what to do.
right, good.
What's the bet? Organ.
Miss-
What? Except. How long do you what?
Don't.
So?
What?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I know.
It's. Of course.
But
Nope.
remember,
Is this about.
no.
So.
What?
Okay.
I'll skip the minutia. Here, I need to make more branches of myself. It seems. I do have more rubidium. do need a scientist and a botanist. The botanist can grow our food much faster. But maybe having a refiner would be better. Worker when crafting items in the workshop. Yeah, having a miner and a refiner would be good. But we need a scientist. We very much need a scientist to research. Finalize previous branching procedure. So the scientists, instead in college or after college, you had a chance to either stay and work, or like for science, or go for money. And this one you chose science. But research came over everything, so you kind of devoted yourself to your research and everything else took a back seat. Whereas your main path, you went for money. You basically just work the 9 to 5. You got a house, but then hard times, and then you had to work. You had to make ends meet. Took a toll on your relationship. And then I guess this is another branch. You either stayed, or in the main timeline you stayed at the house, the dream house that you bought, because you worked too hard to let go. Or you let go and you actually went with your significant other to find better opportunities. In this timeline, you stayed, or you convinced her to stay, and things are falling apart because she's resenting you and you feel like you're not good enough. And then eventually you guys split up and now you're joining the Dolly Project. They all end up in the Dolly Project because the quantum computer deems, or like kind of simulate their lives to end up this way. Anyways, system integrity and temperature. Dude, that is a huge change in temperature. I mean, just a few Celsius, but still, that's like hot, cold, hot, cold, cold, hot, hot, cold.
Enriched metals outpost, huh? A bit risky if you ask me, but efficient.
Rubidium stability. Wait. Like I was saying, the implications of this game is insane because, like, okay, you're the sole survivor of a space expedition, and you have the technology to basically clone yourself, and you're kind of forced into this situation because everyone died, and if you don't do this, you're gonna die too. Okay, where do I need to go? Can I make a dorm yet? make all this stuff. Cool. Alright, looks like I need to... Can I still go out on mine? Or is radiation too high? Radiation too high. Alright, gotta knock out. Okay, with that, I'm gonna be right back. I need to go eat some breakfast. So, yeah, thanks for being here. Like and subscribe, and I'll be right back. Secure save. Okay, let's go back to main menu.
is why we stopped. A lava river. Plan B then, I guess. We'll need to figure out if there's a way around. Wonder how many more surprises this planet has in store. These loose rocks look like they might be passable. If only I had a tool to drill through them. These loose rocks look like they might be passable. If only I had a tool to drill through them.
About time. I'm in. I don't know. Still working on it.
I can try.
What's that?
All
More altars.
man. If it good
Hit me with a good
arrest
or
miss
what? Except. So,
what they
probably.
it's
Of course.
my belt. By the
Yeah. Is this a
no.
so?
What?
Okay. Hey, well, I'll be damned. You very good. Of course. So, what? How much rapidium is there? Did we get a breakthrough? Yeah, you bet. There's a lot of it. Good. That's good. Wait, how do you know? What? They're in the beside. Well, you're wrong. You are, but I see. That actually sounds plausible. You have to get our research lab running at once. We need to make some improvements fast if we want to succeed. Then I guess the sooner I start, the better. You're right. Why don't you start with going through the mission logs? I need to get the full picture first. Good. Hey, I found this. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Good. That'll keep you busy.
Worry about yourself, Sharpie. There's stuff to do in the building module too. Sound like something you'd enjoy?
Sweet.
Sure.
So, just...
I'm also Jan, obviously. This will never not be weird. Anyway, make yourself at home.
Cheers.
Should I resolve this?
All done. Should I take care of this now?
Hey man, you're clearly angry. Meaningless small talk will only make me more angry.
So maybe we can talk about something meaningful. What calms you down?
Punching that smirk of yours would definitely do the trick. But if you really need to know, walking it off, I guess. Maybe you should punch me. Why not? Let it all out. You don't want that. Trust me. But I appreciate the offer. Hey man, can you hear me? Where am I? What is this? Take it easy. You're on strong sedatives. I know. You're confused. Really? Can you answer? Okay, do you remember? Good. I'm afraid you. More real than you, I'm afraid. What? You're a copy I had to make of myself.
What are you? Why is this happening?
I told you, everyone died. Long story short, I needed to multiply myself to survive.
That doesn't make any sense. We're not exactly the same.
Yes, that's because your body is a copy of mine, but your mind, well, it's more like a resimulation with altered memories and experiences.
A resimulation? Wait. Are you telling me my life isn't real?
You know what? I think you should just rest a little and read the mission logs. You'll find all the answers there.
Sure. Yeah, mission logs, so why not? Hey, wait. If all this is... If I am... I mean... What about my wife? Where is she? I need to know.
She's not exactly your wife.
What are you... Are you kidding me? Okay. But that means... She exists. I want to see her.
Just take it easy. She's back on Earth. And she may not be exactly as you remember her.
Damn it. No, this is too much. My head is pounding. What is it you want from me anyway?
We'll need all the help we can get. Someone to run the greenhouse, prep the food, so on. Trust me, you'll have a lot to do.
I'm not sure I'm ready to work just like that.
Right. Like I said, rest, go through the logs, meet the rest of the crew, and let's talk again in a while.
Yeah.
I'll see you around.
Got a minute? We need to talk.
So, how are you? Settling in all right? Settling in is overrated. I analyze... this place is... What can I say? I'm running... Not my fault they haven't thought of it. Sure. Blame it on the higher-ups. I guess I should be glad the word protocol is part of your vocabulary. Truth is... I really wish we could make use of the tech I worked on for all these imaginary years. It would make things so much easier if it existed. So what exactly was your research about? Nanotech in space exploration. We went from a humble startup to making headlines in a few months. Taking our solutions to the front line was my dream come true. The data we could bring back. You had big plans for it. Well, now it's all gone. Turning it over in your head won't get you anywhere. You should focus on the work you need to do here and now. I never thought I'd say it, but yes, you're right. Let's get Rapidium back to Earth, and maybe later, we'll see. Hey, I found this. I brought it on this mission, but... Oh. Everything okay? Oh, of course not. All right, no, I'll get you a... Sounds like a promise. Man, I'm telling you, we need it. And I'm telling you this is... Hey, everything. Actually. Look, I know it's hard to process, but there's no such thing as your life. This is the only life you'll ever have, so it's either this or nothing. No, I don't think I'm ready to acknowledge that. Focus on working. That's always done it for me. People change. At some point I realized work was just a means to an end. Wait, aren't you a successful botanist? Me? No. Lena was the successful one. All I wanted was a healthy work-life balance. Well, you're gonna need something else to drive you here. Yeah, I realized that, thank you. I just can't help thinking Lena's out there somewhere, waiting for me. Shit, I miss her. Don't you? Of course I do. Suddenly, everything's gone. Just like that. It's brutal. I'll need more time to even start hoping to come to terms with it. Okay, just don't take too long. You really need it here. Yeah. I'll do my best to find some sense in it. Consider crafting radiation. Before you head out, make sure you have all the... Haste makes waste. Hey, how's sweet?
There's nothing more to do. Should I move there?
resume mining operations.
We were supposed to get quality food. Why are we still eating that shitty pulp?
Oh, stop whining. Mush is an efficient source of energy.
I'm done here. Should I do this now?
Please consider crafting radiation filters. We've run out of them.
Running out of radiation filters.
land beyond the rocks. Sure. No. Okay. So still us. Beside. Okay.
Yeah?
Not really.
Well, we are all...
So... Of course.
I could fake it. Do you...
No.
You certainly have a chance to experience something extraordinary.
Let's just... I know.
Are...
Of course.
Then we will... Camus believed Harrow is you.
Well?
Of course I would lie to you if I said your work is done.
Why?
But...
So... You mean... Sounds...
You're...
No. What?
You...
I get it.
Good. You need to be aware of the...
What's this?
It's triggering the alert in my suit. I need to learn more about this thing.
Guess we're missing a few rad filters.
Must be another one of those cargo drops. Except that doesn't look like the crew's personal luggage. Might be worth checking out. Huh. Looks like some kind of device. Maybe there's a way I could use it.
A lot of stuff.
Another movie. Hey, is that one following me? What the hell? What is this? Another anomaly? It looks out of this world. Where my stuff landed here?
what I've... let's cube it. Yeah. Can I use it to... Well. Whatever you're planning to do, you're gonna need to give that then. Gotcha. Hey, sure. You know, hey, I found this. Oh, interesting. Motivational? More like demotivational. I only kept it because it's really comfy. Of course you did. It doesn't remind you of all that determination and ambition that fueled my academic success. Anyway, thanks. I appreciate it. I made a really on a according intro create it but if the spot question it so and for let me have it. This woman out. Keep it. on, there's
I'd
an
like
issue
to
we
be
need to
alone,
discuss.
please.
Let's meet. Yeah, I noticed we're missing a few rad filters.
So, yeah. Oh, well. However. Wow, great. Blue. Versant. One of my. Versant. Versatile Synthetics program. One of my undergraduate students went to work for them. Had some impressive achievements, including designing bridge anchors for heavy exploration equipment. You'd think it would be obvious, but no. Stop moaning, will you? Just tell me what to do. You're right. Let's act. You are in touch with mining operations, right? Yeah, I am. Why? Next time you talk to someone from mining ops, tell them to send over the anchor blueprints from Versant. Once we have them, things will go back to super simple. You'll see. All right, will do.
Hey, man, can we talk?
You wanted to talk?
No, we're not talking. I'm talking.
I'm not getting any connection. Okay.
There's an issue we need to discuss. Let's meet.
So, it's town.
I'd like to invest. Now, okay.
Perfect. But
How is that?
I'm just, you see, netbook.
Yeah.
Indeed. Hey there, buddy. How do you feel?
Been better, that's for sure. Oh, what is this place? And shit. Who are you?
Disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah. Your voice. What's going on?
We'll get to that. Just let me ask you some control questions first, okay?
Sure. Fire away.
Do you remember your name?
Yeah. Jan. Dolsky.
And what's your role on this mission?
I'm a refinery operator. Oh, you look like me, but also not like me. Are we brothers or something?
We're much more than that, genetically speaking. We're the same person.
Genetically speaking? Whatever you're trying to tell me, stop beating around the bush, okay?
All right then. You're my alter. I created you with the use of rapidium.
Rapidium?
Yeah, we did it. It's here.
Wow. You hear that, Ben?
I'm afraid there's no time to celebrate. We're in some deep shit here. That's why I had to create you.
Yeah, right. About that? I'm still not quite sure I understand.
Look, you've obviously still not recovered from the shock. Why don't you rest a little and read the mission logs? They'll put it in perspective. We can talk more when the meds wear off.
The meds. Yeah, that explains a lot. Not everything, but I feel like there's something more to this feeling of being so light, weak, you know?
Just relax and take it slow. You'll feel stronger in no time.
Okay, yeah. Maybe. And hell, I can't wait to see Rapidium.
You will soon. I promise. Please consider crafting radiation filters. We've run out of them.